Hey all. So for this video, I'm hoping to button everything up and maybe call it a day because I am so close to getting this thing to the dyno shop that I really want to get it done. So we'll see how far we can get today. But as you can see, I did get my carburetor in. It's a Brawler carburetor. I guess that's the brand. I can't remember what the brand is. I thought it was a Holly, but either way, it's a Brawler carburetor. It's a 650 mechanical secondary, and I'm hoping that's probably a good street strip carburetor to start with. So we'll see how that works. This is my first experience with working with a carburetor like this, or a carburetor in general, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so got the carb in, I got the headers in. These are S10 swap headers, LS swap headers for the S10. Read online that these are what's supposed to fit, so hopefully they do. And I guess we'll put those on as well today. Here's my other things that need to go on. The water pump, new gaskets, alternator. I'll probably hold off on the starter, and probably put the power steering pump and bracket on, as well as the tensioner. Probably put on the damper balancer. Not going to use that. I'm not going to tighten it down to spec because I don't have a 250 foot-pound bolt torque wrench to torque the bolt down. Dipstick. Not going to worry about air conditioning for right now. And just oil filter, and I got a new thermostat as well. Just be safe than sorry, rather be safe than sorry. And also got the MSD box, got that in as well, so I'm going to put that on. Plug wires, obviously, and then the coil packs, if I can find the bolts for those. So I'll have to look for those, but I think first things first, probably going to put in the thermostat and put that on, and probably put on the damper. So let's get to it and hopefully get this thing buttoned up. Well, as you can kind of see, this is actually quite difficult. It took some work to get this guy on. A lot of hard bashing, but I think you should be able to just tighten it on now. It isn't easy, that's for sure. And there goes everything. Alright, so now for some added insurance. I did get another thermostat at AutoZone. It was like 40 bucks. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that in as well. Might as well. Already put it in. Goes facing this way. And then these are, I believe, 10 millimeters bolts. So this is a simple fix here. Hopefully some added insurance as well. So from what I can gather, the tensioner kind of goes on the water pump. It looks like it probably goes on before you put it on the front of the engine here. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten these 15mm bolts down. There's two long ones, and then there's one short one here. So here's the two long ones, and then there's one short one over here. So I'm gonna tighten these up and get this guy on here. And we can tighten these down a little bit more once it's on the engine, but I just want to get this on for now. And then since my engine didn't come with it, I ordered a pack of water pump bolts that came with thermostat housing bolts as well. They're from ICT Billet, part number 551434. So it comes with all the bolts, so we should be good here. So I'm going to replace the thermostat bolts here really quickly. Actually, I think I'm going to leave it with the stock bolts because they're a little bit longer, so I think I'd rather be safe than sorry here. Alrighty, so I took some pictures of the junkyard and I'm going to try to figure this part out. Looks like the water pump goes on first, obviously. And if you need new water pump gaskets, here's the part number 126-30223. Alrighty, so there's 6 of these bolts. They came with the kit that I got, and I'm going to add them in here one at a time. These are 10mm bolts. As you can kind of see, they're a little bit longer, and I think that should be it for the water pump. Okay, so I think we're all set here. Just a couple quick notes. I'm not tightening these down to torque spec because my engine book does not have anything like that I saw. So I'm not really sure what the torque spec is on these. I could probably find it somewhere, but I'm not going to look too hard. That's number one. And number two, I might be taking this pump off anyway once we're done from the shop and know that the dyno shop and know that the engine's running right. I'll probably pull most of these front accessories off to get it in the car anyway, so figure it's probably only necessary for right now to just be tight. So we'll go with that for right now. Alrighty, so now I'm going to bolt down the carburetor, and I think what I found with this Holley carburetor intake is that it should fit kind of any general carburetor bolts that you have. So what I do is I took this bolt here out of the El Camino and put it in the carburetor, and it seemed like it worked all right. So I kind of went to Lowe's and just measured this one, and I believe it's a 5/16 by 1. So that's what I ended up getting, and so we'll see how this works. But I'm thinking that that should be sufficient for these guys. So we'll go ahead and put these guys in, and I believe, as I said, I think these are 5/16 by 1. So I don't know if there's any kind of special provisions needed for these. So I just assume that these are just regular machine grade bolts. So from Lowe's. So we'll see how this works. Hopefully I got the right ones, and hopefully they fit. So we'll see. Alright, so what it looks like from what I can tell is that these, looks like probably these 3 bolt holes on the cylinder head are where the accessory mount, this big old bracket sits. So it looks like it kind of sits just like this, and the alternator sits up above the valve covers, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in as I think it goes. So it's these 3 bolt holes on the cylinder head, and I'm going to go ahead and try that and see if that works, and we'll just roll that way with it. And I just got this bracket and power steering pump, and I think the alternator and starter as well from the junkyard for, I want to say it was like $100 for everything. So in the scheme of things, it's not bad, considering I feel like the prices for the aftermarket kits was ridiculous, being $1,000+ sometimes. So I think I kind of came up with the right way. We will see. The only thing I am concerned about is this power steering pump pulley. It seems a little bit big to me. I'll have to double check with this part number and see how big it actually is. I think it might be a 6-inch pulley. I can't remember. I'll have to double check on that and get back on that. But this particular pulley, they say, so it sounds like, based on the research I've done, some LS swaps, this pulley does work, and it does. Sometimes it doesn't. So the good news is, if it doesn't work, I can always try to pull this one off and put it on a smaller pulley, I think. But this is this accessory system came out of a truck, so I'm gonna go with that and see if it works when we swap it. If it doesn't, then we'll have to put on a smaller pulley. So we'll go from there.